obviously repeat this a few times if you wanted to, and then UI view, set animation, repeat, auto reverse. If you were going to repeat it, what you might want to do is set this auto reverse to yes instead of no. I'm going to set it to be no. But think about this for a second. If it did auto reverse, okay, so if it went back to if it went to a location you're going to set it to, and then it went back to it, then if you were to repeat it a few times, it's just going to be a nice little, you know, up, down, or left, right, fade in, fade out, etc., and so on like that. In this case, we're just fading it straight out. So we're just going to put that to be no, and then UI view. Oh, I don't know why it's doing that now. Set animation curve, and this is one of those things that you could look up in the help documents if you want to find out all the actually, you don't even need to go that far. As soon as I type in UI view animation curve, it's showing me ease in. I could do ease out. Let's do this. Let me come out here to curve and then just hit escape. And that should show me some of the other options that would apply here. So I guess actually right now there's just ease in, out, and ease out. Curve linear, I'm not sure what that is, but let's just go with ease out. Okay, now after you've kind of got that the first part of this set up, then you're going to go in here and set the values that you're going to end up with, and you can put in, you can use this with multiple objects. Okay, right now we just we only have a couple objects on stage anyway, but if we wanted, we could mess around with both of them. But let's go and play with my image. This will be alpha, and there's a couple ways you can go about this. One is you can just go ahead and set or just kind of repeat back out what it's currently at. Like right now our alpha's at 1, and we're going to make it go down to 0. You don't have to do that. I could get rid of this line and then just throw this in here, and it knows to take the current property and bring it down to whatever this is going to be at. I personally just kind of like setting both of them here, okay, just so I can kind of see code-wise where I'm going to be, you know, starting and ending from. But just know that you don't have to do that. Let's go down then, and if we put in the very last line, UI view commit animations, we should be good to go. So let's go ahead and build it and run it. And sure enough, there she goes. Excuse me. Well, here's actually a usage of where you might not want the first property set back to what we started at. Because if I were to click this again, oh, actually, I need to change it. So if I were to click it again, it would then start back at 1 and go back down to 0. Whereas if this wasn't in there, fades out, set it to a different option. Okay, fade it out again, and even though it's running all this, it's not setting it back to 1 initially, so it's just basically going from 0 to 0. Instead of playing around with the alpha property, let's do something a little bit more interesting. We'll just move it around on stage. So now we will write my image dot, let's mess around with the frame. And this is, again, CG rect make, because again, we're just kind of changing the rectangle that is displaying that the frame of the image. And we will, let's make it go to 0 and 0. So it's going to move it up to the top of the stage, and then for the width and the height, let's leave them at whatever they're at. Of course, currently right now I don't know exactly what they're at, so we can again just write my image dot frame dot and then hit escape. It's your easy way of finding this out. Size dot width, comma, Let's do the same thing. And you don't, if you just want to play around a little bit, you could always hit escape right after my image dot, and then just see all the different properties you can throw in here. Of course, most of them aren't going to work with what we're doing, but I tend to hit escape a lot now. Okay, so whatever our width and height currently are, they're going to stay the same. And let's go ahead and run it. Seeing that succeeded down there is best thing in the world. Okay, hey, look at that. And again, if I were to click it now, it's not going to move anywhere. Let's throw in another line of code here, which is particularly useful. And that's going to be UI view. If I can remember what it is. Set, oh yeah. Set animation did stop selector. And what we're going to write in here is first at selector, and then the selector name of a method. Okay, and like for example, this is a selector name. All right, it's just basically the first part of your method, which is, you know, again, it's that part there or that part here. We do need to, let's go ahead and set up another method though. So let's call this, oops, how'd that end up out there? Let's come back down. Just call this do when animation finishes. Wow, that is bugging me out. What is happening? Huh. That's not something I've seen yet. Well, anyway, so this will be the... Oh, I see what's probably going on, because I never finished out writing all that code. So let's put that in there, finish that off. And we need to also close that bracket, then do our semicolon. Okay, so again, here is the selector name, which is just that, you know, basically your method name. And we do need to go ahead and write this over here in our header file. Paste that guy in there. Although, you know what, actually I'm kind of tempted to let me delete this for a second and then just show you what would happen if you left it out. Oh, you know what? It doesn't care. That's interesting. Well, I thought what we were going to see there was a warning that says that this file might not respond to this selector right here. And I'm not sure why it's not giving us that error, but it's happened to me quite a bit where like I forgot to go and I set up this the method name, officially declaring it in the header file, and it's just kind of like saying, hey, you know what, I hope you know what you're doing, because I checked the header file and I don't see any sort of method named this, so it might not respond to it. But for some reason in that usage, it didn't really care. So let's flip back over here, and then now when the animation finishes, we can do whatever we want. We could maybe at that point, right, hide it. Okay, so we'll change the hidden property to being yes. Build it and run it. So we'll fade it out. Not really fade it out at all now. That just moves it. And then, of course, for all these other guys here, when we're clicking on them, the line of code's working, but it's still hidden. So then you might want to go and come back over here, and maybe at the top of this, then just write. Oops. Right no. So that way if you did fade it out or move it and hide it, it'll come back on for these other guys here. So that's a great bit of code to know right there. Just all this